Hey everybody, Jefi and Ed here. How you doing today, Ed?
I am doing great. Getting ready for the holidays, having a great time.
Good.
Dreaming in MLS Remarks. Fabulous. 3 bedroom, 2 bath.
Which brings me to our point. Hey, you guys, we're doing a listing series, and this part of the series is MLS Remarks and Photos. So, this might sound kind of boring and, why are we listening to this? But let me tell you, you've got about 4 seconds to capture your consumer. And the shite that I have been reading and seeing literally makes my skin crawl. As a matter of fact, half the time I stop and I go get my assistant or Joe or anybody that'll come look, Cody, I'm all, do you see this photo? Do you see this terrible photo? Like, why is this here? So if I'm doing that, I know other people are doing that. So this is kind of, this is going back to basics. This is old school. So here we go. All right.
Well, I will say on this, why it matters is that we've got the ability to be too wordy and we don't get to the point with our photos and our remarks, right?
Absolutely. And that reminds me, let me just scooch out of the picture here really quick.
This is live.
This is live. We are going to be doing a book review on Smart Brevity, which is a fantastic book that my very good friend Skip referred to me and I shared with you. And this will be something that you could use for exactly what we're talking about today, by the way. Smart Brevity.
Smart Brevity. It's really driving, and we're going to do an episode on that.
Yeah.
But do you want to get into the backstory a little bit?
Yeah, let's talk about this. So when the consumer is reading our MLS remarks all over the internet. So our MLSs obviously put this out into the internet world. Trulia, Redfin, Realtor.com, blah, blah, blah. What would you say is the most important thing for our consumers to see in that first little bit of information that's coming across to them as they're looking through the internet for homes?
Well, I think that what people lose track of is that the purpose of that posting is to get a scheduled showing.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's really for. It's like give them, entice them to get a scheduled showing. That's really kind of the big picture of what's going on there, right?
Right.
So
and you lose people.
For photos, you lose them. So for photos, it's eye candy. You want to tease them and get them into the key areas and let them walk through. Mm-hmm. Now, we used to have to be real succinct because we had a limited number of photos, right? And all our MLSs are exploding that up to where you can have like a ridiculous number. Mm-hmm. And people aren't thinking that through. Agents are losing track of that and not telling a story with the photos and getting to the key areas. So get me, show me some context, get me into the kitchen quickly, those type of things, right?
Right. Can I pause you there for a second?
Yeah, please
Just in line with this. I try very hard to make sure that you're walking through a property while you're looking at the photos. And one of my biggest pet peeves is when I'm looking at pictures and I'm in the kitchen and now I'm in the backyard and now I'm in the front yard and I'm in the garage and I'm back in the kitchen. And it's just, you guys, it takes 10 minutes to be succinct and professional. Would you agree with that statement?
100%. Okay. I do the same thing. So if we're going to get kind of into the details here and dive in on photos, which I think is good, like I want to see a headshot right away. Mm-hmm. Then I want to get to the front door, get me into the foyer, right? Mm-hmm. And then I want to see context of where the rooms lay out. Is there room to, if I'm going to the right to the den, I want to see that entry, and then I'm in there, and then I want the photo that shows the next room, and I'm marching around. My goal is to get to the kitchen as quickly as I can. Like if you're entering the home, I'm like at the front door, I'm in the entrance, I can see the kitchen, I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Because that's what, so like 3 or 4 clicks, I'm in the kitchen. Nothing is driving me more bonkers now than like 20 photos to get to the kitchen. And let me ask you, Jefi, why is the kitchen so important?
Well, kitchens and bathrooms sell homes. But here's the funny thing is that a lot of times the homes I'm listing are 1940s and 50s kitchens. So a lot of times I'll take them on a different route. I'll take them to the best places as long as it's still succinct. But again, you have to choose what's best to get, the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time for your clients. And the kitchen usually gives that.
Yeah, the kitchens and the master baths, and being logical about it, and not like wasting the consumer's time for the key areas. Get them, so be logical in your flow and get to the key areas. And again, the goal is to then get them to schedule a showing in person. So you don't need to show, just because you can't show 50 photos doesn't mean you should, right?
Right. Let's talk about remarks.
Oh, MLS Remarks. I used to work with an agent. She spoke in MLS Remarks. It was beautiful. She was just her natural cadence. I would have cast her in a movie. She was great. But MLS Remarks, we've had the similar explosion. I used to think of them as kind of a haiku because we had a limited number.
Yeah.
Of characters, and you had to work around that and do it, and our audience was naturally other agents, so we were very smart in what we were saying, right? And then they've exploded the character count up, and it's getting a little ridiculous.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
So I pulled some MLS remarks.
God. You guys, if you're listening and you're not watching us on YouTube, Ed just showed me an MLS sheet, and literally 50% of the sheet is written in remarks.
Yeah. So here's the remarks.
Yeah. That's just
look at all that. And I'm like, do you realize the agent's holding that? Like, I still carry them. I don't know if you do, but I like to have them.
Yeah.
And like, what am I supposed to get out of this? So there's more text here than you can even imagine, but here's the opener. Good things come in threes. Oh, okay.
Am I buying 3 houses?
Am I buying? Classic shingled, and an address, is a home for the ages. Great indoors and free-flowing, friendly. Gathering is easy as 1, 2, 3 and airy. Open spaces driving togetherness. Okay, where were the 3 things?
I don't. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Oh, okay. See, but I read that and I'm like, what are the 3 things? You've told me that there are good things come in threes. What are the 3 things that are good?
Yeah. Okay. You could spend the whole show reading that stuff, so let's take a second there. I want to make fun of myself too, because we are, as Cody calls it, taking the piss, but we are picking on here. So let's just throw me in the loop. So a long time ago, I wrote an MLS, deal, and this was pre having so much space for writing. And I'm like, there's a southerly view with wind sweeping through the trees. And I mean, I just was going on and on and on. And a gal who worked in my office at the time, her name's Laura. And she took the MLS sheet, she put it slapped it down on the table. She's all, this is why this isn't selling. This is crap. You really talk about the house, for God's sake. So I've also done this. So this is a lesson for all of us. I know.
I have to. But I'm not calling anybody,
It is interesting.
Happens.
It is. I think that the thing that I've really turned myself to do lately is to say, what would somebody love about this home? What do they love about it? It doesn't have to be a huge, long sentence. Open in, the wide walkways or big, expansive area outside or whatever. Just not like it's not a chapter in a book. It's just little points that you and I can use as buyer's agents to sell the property.
Right.
Which was one thing I loved.
Don't use purple.
Yeah. Don't use what?
Don't use purple prose. It's like you're not... this isn't your chance to, your crack at the Nobel Prize for Literature, right? It's like, get to the point. Who's the audience? get the key features. And just because you've now got a character count that's exploded, you don't have to use it all.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. We don't have to fill every bit of space. Okay, before you move on, though, you said something to me when we were doing our show notes. And that's what you said, something about using the agent remarks to really give these solid things. And I don't do that. My agent remarks are really about how to present the offer and a couple other things, or how to contact. I loved this. So can you dive into that a little bit?
100%. So agent only remarks. So for listeners or viewers that are not agents on the MLS, there's like what you see, and then there's an agent only section that agents have access to. And the way I use that is I'm picturing myself being the agent doing the showing, and I'm giving them bullet form the key facts that they can talk to. So when they say, well, how old is the roof? Well, if they didn't have time to pull up the seller's disclosure, I put like roof, 2018, HVAC, the dates, any of the key information.
I love that.
So that they can just get it right there. Now you're helping them, right? Mm-hmm. And then if there's a structural report available, you don't have to give all the details, but clean report, structural has been reviewed, clean report in document section, that kind of stuff. So that when they see the crack, they know it's been dealt with.
Right.
You're like helping them on their showing. That's the way I use them.
I love that. That is fantastic. All right,
Can I tell a funny story on that?
Please.
Or funny. I don't know if it's funny, but a story. I had an agent once that they put, because the house behind me was selling, and they said, "Wildlife abounds. Ed Billings lives behind this home." In the agent remarks.
Okay, that's pretty funny.
That's pretty funny.
That was good. Okay, so just in wrapping this up, wrap it up. What would you suggest that agents do now that they've kind of had this a 10-minute tutorial on MLS Remarks and Photos?
Yeah, I'd go back through, if you've got active listings, take a look at them with this in mind and clean them up, shorten them up. White space is a great thing, right? Mm-hmm. So if you can say something with one word rather than 5, that might be the way to go. Think about, what's important to the agent and the agent remarks, and help them through the showings. Be intentional in what you're saying. Mm-hmm. And then on the photo side, I think we covered that pretty well, but obviously, like, use professional photos. If you're if you're not doing that you're not doing your client service. And then get them in the house as quickly as you can, walk them through logically, and show them the key areas. And remember, the goal in mind is to not write a novel on an MLS sheet. It's to get a showing.
That's good stuff, mister. I'm actually going to go through my listings right now and just make sure that there's no crud in there. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful one. We look forward to seeing you next time.
See ya.